Good afternoon, everybody. Bobby Cleveland here, Executive Director, Oklahoma Correctional Professors, along with Representative J.J. Humphrey. J.J., there's even a lot more going on now than what there was going on.
Bob,
We know
there's
we had
something
some
all the
deaths at the
time.
prisons, you know that.
It's been wild trying to keep up, and a lot of people have been seeing me go after all this stuff on the human services.
J.J.,
All
you're I don't know if it's my deal or not, but you wouldn't come in. You're not loud enough. Sitting too far from your microphone, I think.
Can't hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm having to go off my phone because somebody crashed my computer.
Oh, that's what's wrong. Somebody crashed your computer. It's always somebody else's fault.
Well, Bob, they come in my office, and here's my computer. I know somebody else has been in here because they moved a bunch of stuff. My computer ain't working, so I'm going to assume somebody been on my computer. It will not come on for nothing now.
Well, JJ, how many deaths have we had this week?
Bob, I think we've had about 3. Like I was saying, I've been working on all that grand jury stuff for DHS and all that, but I am keeping track of, I'm still watching corrections very, very tight. We've had roughly 3. I know we had one at Crabtree. I think we had one, that may have been on Friday that we had one stabbed there at Mac Alford. I think we had some, I know we had about 4 or 5 OD at Hinton. I think we had another one that was killed at Hinton. And so, like I say, you just had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people calling me, especially out of McAllister, OSP, and one of the big complaints I got was apparently some guy tore something up that wasn't that big of a deal, and they just made a big issue and locked him down and put him in one of those chairs like you're having a psychotic episode, how they strap you in that chair, strapped him in that chair over that, which I wouldn't think would be quite legal for punishment, but they were doing that apparently, what I was told. And the officer was like, they can throw urine on us, they can throw feces on us, felony, and they don't even want us to report it, won't even report it. And then somebody tears up a little something, and this is what they're going to do, So, again, I know getting a lot of calls on the warden there that she's firing people or treating people pretty badly. So I'm getting a lot of calls right there, Bob. There's a new drug. There's a new drug out, and I didn't get the name of the drug. I'm wondering if it might be, what is that, ketamine or ketamine? But anyways, apparently it's not just at Hinton. Apparently all over the place, you've had a lot of people dying or ODing or overdosing.
Is that the one that's taking the place of fentanyl?
Well, that's what I can't tell. Is it they're saying a new drug? It's possibly K2 with fentanyl mixed. I don't know what the new drug is, but apparently they're having a whole lot of problem with the new drug, and apparently lots of ODs across the state.
It's really nothing new on the problems with the warden. I get calls all the time on her, that the way she treats people and talks to people, talks down to people. And
yeah, Bob, here's the other deal. I mean, just like, and I'm not trying to pick on her, but I'm just getting calls. You're getting calls. And one of the things is just like, when the air conditioning system, and not one prison, multiple prisons, Bob, that the air conditioners don't work, air's out, water's out, they can't get water. And again, especially I'm getting calls over at Lawton on the medical. I get that call all the time, man. I guarantee I get on my phone right now and look at the number of people texting me or emailing me saying, would you please find out if they would give my loved ones some care? This guy's got cancer, they're not treating. This guy's got a broken jaw, they're not treating. And so I got one.
I hear a lot of stuff about medical, a lot of complaints on medical.
Yeah, I got one from Lawton that they're saying that unless you get below 50 on your blood sugar, they're not going to address it. And Bob, you know, that's insane to wait until you get to 50 and below. And so, Bob, there's just so many things that are wrong. And again, for me, and you know, I mean, a lot of people don't want to say this. I'll say it very openly, and I'll say it to his face. I'll say, he knows the way I feel. Governor knows the way I feel. Everybody in the state of Oklahoma knows how I feel. And that is that HARP has been a disaster for the last 3 years. And
Well,
he
Justin
has
Farris
left.
got a job cut up for him.
Well, Bob, he's left the prisons. He's left the Department of Corrections a disaster. And again, you know, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. The medical, when he brought Dana Webb in, she didn't know what she was doing. And if you want to look at what's happened in the last 3 years to our medical, it's. I mean, Fisher had it turned around and it was going in the right direction. She's took it right out. You know what I mean? So
Well, what would you do? What would you do, JJ, if you were going to take it over? What's some of the things first thing you'd do?
Well, Bob, the first thing is that Justin Farris, and again, I want to say, and I know you feel the same way. We won't wish Justin Farris, you know, we don't. We want to see him do well. We want to see this thing turned around. We want to see things improve. We're for the employees. And so, again, Justin, the first thing that I would encourage Justin to do is to admit that he worked. Now, he can't go out, Justin can't go out and say the things that I can, okay? But he's got to admit he worked for a moron who destroyed the Department of Corrections. That you can't fix something that's not broke. So if he comes in and starts, oh, HARP did a wonderful job, and look at all the great things that he's did, guess what? Then you're going, that's a train to nowhere. That's a train to nowhere. In order to fix stuff, you've got to first acknowledge they're broken. So the first thing is to come in and decide what's the number one thing. Bob, we've discussed that here 100 times. How many times say, Bob, what's the number one thing? What's the first thing that you would try to do? And the first thing, he has a shortage of staff. He has a shortage in his correctional officers. He has a shortage in his case managers. He has a shortage in his nursing staff. I believe, you know, we don't talk about probation pro enough, but I would look at that as well. And Bob, the first thing he's going to have to do is come up with the plan. Now, they had a shortage before HARP got there. They had an officer shortage. That was the way we
like
got
what they have now, though.
Not like we have now. I agree, but they've had a officer shortage for 6 years. And he's been around that entire time. Now, that's just the way it is. And he's going to have to come up with a plan to get officers. And again, that plan has to work. And again, he's going to have to talk to some people to come up with.
I think that's one thing he needs to do is take these people in the civil service that they fired wrongly, and that the judges agreed that they fired him wrongly. The judges keep saying, put this guy back to work, put this guy back to work, put this guy back to work. They appeal it. As they get another judge, says the same thing. But, you know, if I were doing it, I would put those people back to work and give them their back pay. I would stop paying these $500 an hour attorneys and just stop that completely and get people back to work and give them their back pay. I would stop paying these $500 an hour attorneys and just stop that completely and get the civil service people. She loves being a correction officer, likes the job, but she just couldn't take the stress they have at OSP. And so she quit, and then she was going to go to Jim Hamilton, and she called Jim Hamilton. They said, they checked her out, said, well, they got a do not rehire on here on you. And she didn't know anything about it.
You know, here's the deal. You got a staff shortage. We just identified number one problem, staff shortage. You got a long-term employee that's a good employee that just, man, reached the place where she's at. And a lot of that's due to management, just like we're talking about. Miss Quick's having a lot of problems there. People are quitting, and again, just staff shortage, and she's got a huge problem. That huge problem would a whole lot be attributed to her. Okay, here's a person that's going to quit. Okay, I can't deal with it anymore. I like my job, but where I'm at, it's my life or my job. You know what I mean? Now gets an opportunity to go to work for the department. Who puts a no hire? I mean, if I'm going to put a no hire
Warden
on,
did.
you shot somebody. Where you did, you come in there, okay, let's do this. Did they put a no hire on Harp, who carried a gun into OSP? That's a no hire offense, okay? Just saying I'm stressed and your facility's got me stressed out and I'm quitting is no reason to put a no hire on somebody. So here we go down the road, could help out the department. An experienced person can walk right in and start doing that job.
Well, it looks like to me on the situation is that she put the do not hire on there that she didn't even know anything about. They didn't know it. She had no letter, no nothing.
Right.
She thought she left there in a good terms, but apparently the warden, I guess, is so irresponsible or so doesn't have I don't know what her deal is, but put a do not hire on the girl. So
Bob,
you're paying her back because she quit you.
You had to be upset with somebody to put a do not hire. That's a pretty bad deal. That's generally reserved for a really poor employee. And just because you're mad because somebody quit you, just somebody, saying, hey, what's going on at this prison stresses me out, which is shortages, which is people are going to, everybody's talking about, hey, somebody's going to get killed up there because of the way it's being ran. Everybody's talking about that. Who wouldn't be stressed out? Could you blame anybody for quitting or saying, hey, this is enough, I've got to quit? I wouldn't blame anybody. I would be upset, if I was Warden Quick and I needed employees. Yes, I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be mad at them, and I certainly wouldn't put a do not hire. And again, that's the kind of attitude that's got her in. That's why they're in the position they're in, is that very attitude right there. You know what, Bob? That's what's wrong. And Bob, now you made a good point there a while ago. And that was to end all of these lawsuits that they've lost anyways. They're frivolous. All they're doing is appealing those to just make it rough on those people. And so other people won't do it because they see how rough they make it. And they're going out and using tax dollars to do that. You know what I mean? Now, if Justin Farris would walk in, end all of those lawsuits, it'd make a big statement. One, he would save all of the legal costs that he's going to cost the state.
It'd be cheaper for them to do that than to keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, but Bob, what that would do is that would send a message to the employees, hey, I'm going to start treating people right. Send a big message. It send a message out, hey, this is a new administration. We're gonna do what's right. We're gonna treat people what's right. And now we're gonna end all the frivolous lawsuits. We're gonna save all the money on lawyers. We're gonna send out a message to all the employees that we're trying to do what's right. And guess what? We're gonna increase our staff. That's about 30 employees. That's probably more than they hired all year. I don't know what they're staffing. But to bring back 30 employees, can I get a witness? That's a pretty good day. That's a good month. And these are employees that are already trained. We don't have to send them to school. Guess what? They're ready to go right back into the workplace. So guess what? There's a way to get 30 employees right there. So you know what, Bob? It's not just one act. That one act, you get 5 or 6 days a good month. They treat you like crap. Don't go to work there. This is a terrible place. Don't do this. Don't do that. They don't take care of you. Okay, when you got your number one recruiter out talking like that, your staff is your number one recruiter. If you have happy staff, you have, staff that want to see and they feel like they're in a good environment, guess what? They're going to go out. If they got a kid that needs a job, if they know somebody in the community needs a job, and guess what? How many people do we know need jobs? I know several. I used to refer people to the Department of Corrections. Guess what? As long as Harp was there, I'd say, I don't think I'd work. Somebody asked me about a job. I said, well, you probably get a job down there at the Department of Corrections, but I'd recommend you don't go. Now, Bob, in order to change that, you got to show these employees that it's a new day. And you can't come in and say, oh, y'all got treated right. The last 3 years, we've done a great job treating y'all great. Everybody knows that's a lie. Everybody knows that's a lie. Now, Justin Farris, whether he likes it or not, he's been attached to Harp. That's just the way it is. I mean, he has been Harp's right-hand man. So if he just continues his business as usual, his whole staff is going to go, okay, he's no different. But if he comes in and says, you know what, I'm not going to come in and badmouth this man. I'm just going to come in and say, I am a different person. There's a new guy running the show, and here's what we're going to do. And if he would send that message out to those employees, now they're going to sit back and go, now is this guy for real? He's going to have to do more than talk. He's going to have to show it. But if he would show them that we're in a new environment, I would guarantee you they would go out and start talking.
Well, Justin has always been, as far as I'm concerned, treated everybody fairly. He respected everybody, and we really had no problems of working together and making things work. We could get right now, though. We just got to get some people, because it's just going to get. We keep saying it's going to get worse, but it is getting worse. But now we've got some hope.
Well, Bob, in the past, we've always been able to work with Justin. I've got my doubts that he's going to be able to work with me, just because he's a very political person. And politically, I've got the entire Capitol mad at me. He knows that. So I don't see him working with me, but I think that he can open doors with you. I think that he would be wise to sit down and use you and get the employees. That's another way he could come in and show, hey, we encourage you to join OCP. We want to make a strong association. If you have problems, work that out with Bob. If he's smart, he would assign somebody that you can call on these problems.
I think the governor is one that wanting to get rid of OCP, so that's a problem there. But I think there's other ways that we can do things together.
Well, Bob, if you're working together and if we're doing stuff together, guess what? That's what you need. You need your employees working with you. You don't need them working against you. Now, the thing about it is, what they have managed to do is keep employees from, because I talked to a person last night, said they sent out a memo, they can't talk to anybody, and it was clear, JJ is clear, don't talk to you. Everybody knew that if they got caught talking to you, they were going to get fired. Now, Bob, that's illegal. That's illegal and it's wrong, okay? And the deal is, all these people talk to me anyways. They just talk to me on the side. Oh, don't let nobody know. Bob, they did you the same way. Don't let nobody know that I'm talking to you. And I'd join OCP, but if I did, they'd fire me. If they found out, they'd fire me. That kind of hostility, that kind of environment is what I'm talking about. And if you maintain that kind of mentality, then guess what? Your employees are going to know that. If you walk out and say, you know what? I'm for the employees. I'm for the employees having an association where they have a voice. I'm for the employees picking a president and a vice president who can come and sit down with me in behalf of all of the employees to say, hey, what can we do to move this? This shouldn't be employees versus the administration. This should be something, and it originally was set up like that, Bob. Tell
Well,
them to work together.
I tell you, I pray every night. I pray for Harp. I pray for OCP. I pray for Justin Farris. That these guys can work together and not be so mean to people.
Well, Bob, I prayed for Harp. I prayed that he'd be gone, and my prayer come true. So you know,
Yeah, he did.
I don't say that. Hey, listen to me. I think Harp is a narcissist who only cares about himself. I think he squandered money. I would be highly shocked that if investigated, there wouldn't be problems. We see problems in OMES. We saw problems before he was left. That's why he came to DOC, because of those problems. While at DOC, he gave himself a $90,000 raise, which is embezzlement. The office he went and got wasted money. He didn't get approved on that. All the $1 million uniforms, it's such a joke. You know, again, I can go on all and fire people. Oh, we're not going to bring people from OMES. I mean, that's what he originally said. Hey, he ain't no more get those words out of his mouth. Then he fired great people and brought in people who knew absolutely, just like this medical we're talking about. I'm not opposed to Dana Webb. Dana Webb, I like her all right. She's a smart enough person. Nothing against her. But she's not a physician. She didn't know what the hell she was doing. How in the heck she got that job? There's only one way. Her and her good friend, Stephen Hart, got the job. Wow, what was that all about? And then, you know, she was a complete disaster, as he was a disaster. And if you go, it's not me talking. That's not me being mean to Dana. That's me being factual. She got the job because she's his good friend, not because she's talented, not because she knew it, not because she had a doctor's degree. Guess what? She got the job because she was his good friend. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, are we better off with her 3 years? Are we terrible? Are we a disaster? We're a disaster on medical. So if I was Justin, I would be calling my wardens. I would say, I want to know any medical life-threatening. We got to address the life-threatening. We got to address the diabetes type incidents, and we've got to address any broken bones, any kind of serious injuries that need immediate repair. That's what I would be doing with my medical right now. I would be talking to my medical staff to say, I want to know, but again, your medical staff is not going to talk to you when they're afraid you're going to fire them. Because how many times has Harp said that? We want to know what's wrong, and then when people try to tell him, guess what? You're out. You're gone. Look at Julie, who was over the food, and he said, I want to meet with you. And guess what? Never met with her to the point now she leaves, and then again, they trashed her on the way out. I think she would admit that. So again, people are not going to tell you until you establish that we actually have a relationship to where I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's wrong. Identify the problems at each prison. Tell me medically what is going on that you need. And again, then you start making an assessment on medical, on hiring people. Bob, first of all, you've lost all your experience. You've lost all your experience. You've run everybody off who was good employees and had experience. So the first thing I would do, I would identify, I'm going to name a name, Luke Pettigrew. Luke's got a pretty good gig right now. I don't even know that he would come back. You're going to have to sweeten the pot to get him back. But Luke Pettigrew is somebody I would get back. I would put him in my administration. I would take the administration and I would, first of all, I'd get people back before I started looking at relieving other people of their duties. But I would seriously thin down my administration because, again, a heavy, overbloated administration works against you, not for you. You streamline information by getting rid of all that crap management right there that doesn't do anything but block information. It does do absolutely drains your. So you ought to have about 200 in your administration, not 1,000 something. And what you ought to be doing is getting rid of people who have zero experience, no zero, that people can't stand, that cause you more problems. So again, go out and recruit somebody like a Pettigrew. You remember that old boy that used to work right under Farris, Jeff? I can't remember what his last name is, but man, I mean, that guy had been around. He knew his stuff. He got along with everybody so well. Again, that's the guy, those kind of people right there are who I'm going to be calling back and say, can I talk you into coming back over here?
Well, I don't think that Ferris is I think he's smart enough to see what's going on. He's going to do the right thing. I really do. I think he'll get some things, doing things differently. But I don't know. I don't know if he can, because I don't know if Stitt's going to bust in on there and change it. We're going to have to wait and see. But they got to treat people better. We're never going to get enough help. OCP, OSP is in a mess. And like you said, someone's going to get killed there. I hear it all the time. It's the way they don't even have people, not even doing counts. They don't have enough people.
Well, Bob, hey, a month ago they had an inmate stabbed, and the reason that inmate stabbed because he stepped in front of an officer and took a stabbing for that officer. Otherwise, we would have had an officer stabbed and possibly killed. So again, I mean, it's just by the the heroic actions of an inmate and the grace of God that you don't have an officer dead or severely stabbed. I heard you had an officer stabbed. Now, this is what's funny, Bob. Officer gets stabbed at Hinton, and we don't even know, is that factual? Is that not factual? Did he get beaten or did he get stabbed? We can't get a factual, and here it is 2 weeks later, and we don't know what's the truth. And that's how poorly and how illegally that they've shut down information. It's illegal. You want to solve your problems. Become transparent. Start discussing your problems. Don't act like you're going to cover up all these problems and nobody knows it. Everybody knows these problems, and you're sitting over acting like, there was a story about a king who liked to dress up, and the tailor got to playing a joke on him and didn't sew clothes, but pretended that he sewed clothes. And then the king went out in the street and he was naked, only nobody would tell him he was naked. All the people just, praised him and everything. And finally, a little kid jumped up and said, hey, you're naked. Well, guess what? It's time somebody says in this deal, hey, Justin, y'all's naked. You got lots of problems. Quit pretending that there is no problems. Come out and start acknowledging. Come out and start the reports back of what was actually. Go sit down with the governor and go, hey, I'm going to give you the truth. Hey, you know what? All that stuff that Humphrey and Bob have been saying is absolutely true. Guess what? We're in bad shape, and we need your help. And go down and sit down with the legislators and say, hey, this is honestly where we're at. Guess what? If you would do that, you're going to get more money. You're going to get more help. You're going to get, okay, how do we fix it? Bob, you've been at the legislature. Most of them's attitude would be, okay, how do we fix that?
Well, they say my understanding is that Harper said he has enough to, I read in the paper, hire 300 new officers. So let's do it.
He should have enough to hire about 7,
Well, he has money in there for not about 1,900.
Right.
But I believe that he probably has less than 1,000.
Yeah, they said they only had like 12, and if they say they got 12, they probably really got 8. And so, again, who knows? That's the other thing that I would tell Justin, and I can tell you this, y'all had a reputation when Crow was there and Pittman and all them of not telling the truth. Nobody could believe. Over at the legislature, they did not believe one number that they put in, Bob. Not one number. Guess what? Under Harp, they talked about firing Harp at the end of last session because they saw that he lied, he cheated, and the way he bought this prison. And I'd been telling them, and they was like, oh, JJ. Well, guess what? At the end of the session, everybody's going, well, I guess old JJ knew what he's talking about. JJ hit her right down the numbers. Okay, they were talking about firing. They know all this is a scam. They know there's problems. Why pretend? Walk right in there. Give them this is bad. This is where we're at. How do we fix it? They'll respect you a whole lot more if you'll do that. And you'll actually fix the problems. And Bob, you got to get back experience. And you got to find people that everybody, like bringing back a Luke Pettigrew and putting him in a key spot would send a message to the entire troops. We got a guy who's going to look out for the employees' backs. This guy is employee friendly. This guy's going to look, and I would put him out working on hiring people, working on going into each prison, talking about what do we do in that community. And again, I will promise you it wouldn't take very long. I got another plan on how to bring back seasoned employees, experienced employees that you wouldn't have to send to a school. You could go back and do a 2-week training on them and be ready to go. Bob, it's not, you just got to get creative on how you do stuff. They have no creativity. They haven't done anything in 6 years.
Well, tell me something, JJ. I'm not quite clear on this. And everybody goes to academy. Do they all do the same thing in academy? Is there any difference?
No.
All the same. Well, why is it you got people like Jackie Brennan that don't know how to work with people that are basically killers? They'll kill you in a minute.
Well, Bob, here's the thing. You go to your prison. They come in and they train you on basic stuff, okay? And then you go back to your prison and you operate where you're hired at. And so it's just like, guess what? Do you think working at Oklahoma City Police Department is the same as working at the Toka Police Department? I promise you it's not. But yet, if you go to Cleat, you're both getting trained in the same exact school in the same exact way. But when you go back to your place, guess what? There's great differences. So if you're going to just drop people in there,
if you're at a minimum prison, it's different than when you go to a maximum prison.
Absolutely. And here's the deal on how you handle inmates, on opening doors and letting people out. Totally different. I've worked in both. They used to send me all the time to go help at OSP. And again, I don't want to act like, man, I know all OSP, but I've worked in there for 2-3 weeks at a time, multiple times. And again, what they did, I was a grunt. They just put me with somebody and I did what they told me to. It wasn't like I've got all this experience. I had experience in probation pro, but again, they just said, okay, me and you are going to go down and we're going to do this right here. Okay, that's what it did. Or they would say, hey, I need you to go back and get this tray, or I need you to go back and tell so-and-so, or get this. I was more a runner, but they had to have people like that. So again, if you bring somebody over from a minimum, you need to put them with somebody, only they're shorthanded. So they're bringing them over there, drop them into I don't know at all situation. And guess what? It's a recipe for disaster. You're shorthanded. And again, people are quitting. And instead of this being something that helps, it looks to me like it's being something that harms, because how many people have we heard? And they fired people. I mean, they fired two that for absolutely ignorance. I mean, just flat ass ignorant. When you're that shorthanded that you have to unite two prisons that tell you right there you're in a serious, sad situation for them to do that. They've tried to do it before, it hadn't worked. Guess what? You're in a sad situation. And then you got a warden down there running off one of the guys that's probably one of the most respected down there, running him off for absolutely nothing. Now, that's just ass ignorance. That's the stuff I'm talking about. And that's where I would get rid of that person. And I probably wouldn't fire. I would probably put them and use their experience. I just say, you're not management material, and I can put you over somewhere in case management, records, somewhere where they could be used, I wouldn't necessarily fire them. Just like all my administration, I don't know that I would fire anybody. I would put some of them working janitorial probably, because I don't know that they could do much else. But you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't just walk in there and start firing people. That's not the right move to make. That's what Harp did, fired great people and then brought people who knew absolutely nothing. And what kind of management style is that? Let's fire really experienced people and bring in people who know absolutely nothing. That's a recipe for disaster, and that's just the cake he baked, the disaster cake. And you remember, Bob, you were with me. You were with me when Crow got in, and I sat down with Crow and said, you know, you got the worst cake in the world. You got the worst cake in the world ever. And they just took the cherry off and they put a new cherry on. You know, what do you got? He's, what you talking about? And I said, well, what do you got? You got the same old cake with a different cherry. Guess what? For years, Bob, we got the same old cake. We got the same old cake. Well, Harp come in and cooked the new cake. Harp did not keep the same old cake. He got rid of the old cake and he got a new one. And the old cake, I didn't think it could get worse. That old cake looks wonderful. We'd take the old cake back every day compared to what Harp has done. Harp has created the disaster cake. And again, the problem is Justin was with Harp for 3 years. And Justin's got to do something that says, I am not Stephen Harp. I am not business as Stephen Harp usual. We're breaking away. Stephen Harp's a disaster. He can't come out and say that, but he just needs to come out and say, we're not going the way we are. We're radically changing. We're making a 360. He needs to do the moves that people, not saying it, not mouthing it. He needs to take action that people actually see. I'll give you another good example. Bring in the old doctor. Bring in the old doctor and have him. Don't put that on your plate. You got enough to put on your plate. Bring in that doctor and say, doctor, straighten this out. But here's what we got to do. We got to make sure that people who are in really bad shape right now, that gets addressed. So doctor, first order on your plate. Let's get everybody taken care of. And then let's start fixing our medical. I know you can do it. I trust you. Doc, I hired you. Get her done. Guess what? He could do it. Fisher could do it. Go do that. There's your medical problem. Go find a person like Pettigrew. Bring them in. Get rid of your second guy. If you don't want to fire him, put him down there to clean the commodes. But get him out of where he's at. He's a disaster for you. And get somebody like Pettigrew, Jason Lemons. I'd be on the phone and I would see if Jason Lemons, and if I didn't use those people, I would call those people and say, who are people that you know that the entire staff know that we trust like you two, and who can we bring in and put in here that just screams, we're going to take care of the employees. Boom, right there. Bob, I would be looking at changing this, this new assessment stipend they got. That's just such a clown move. And what it is, if Hart's mad at you, you're not going to get it. If Hart likes you, you're going to get it. Same thing with the rest of the staff. Warden likes you, you get it. If they don't like you, you ain't going to get it. Here's the deal. If you're there and you're doing the job, you get it like everybody else. Otherwise, we're going to fire you. That's the people who need fired, fire them. The people who don't, but right now you shouldn't be firing anybody because you need every hand on deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's there's plenty of things you could do to make it better and make it work. And cut down on these inmates getting murdered. I mean, there's killing these inmates, inmate on inmate. It's like I never seen. You talk about I've talked to other places. They can't believe that we're having the many murders that we're having.
Bob, They need to change how they assess people. You got people sitting up there that on paper they look terrible, but Bob, they were doing all of that stuff at 18. Now they're 40, now they're 50, and they're sitting in a prison, and that's going to be their life from now on. You move them out to some of these minimums and some of these mediums. Those guys are going to have juice on the yard. They're going to have control on the yard, but they're going to want that yard to be a safe place. That's their home. You put those guys out there, them old timers that you can have confidence in. So you're going to have to change how you do some of your assessment. But all of these gangbangers who's causing all your problems, every prison knows who it is. Get your top 10 and trade them out. Take those 10 and put them up there at OSP, lock them down, and take the 10 I'm talking about and replace those 10. And guess what? You're going to see calmness come back down. You're going to see things start to work. There's ways. I will tell you another thing that I would be doing. I would be doing an assessment of my actual facilities, doors, air conditioners, water, all of this, kitchen. And then I'll tell you another thing, Bob. I would be getting those assessments. And here's why I'm saying to do. Get those assessments so that when January comes, you're ready to walk into those legislators and say, here's a real truthful, and I would put it on them. Don't expect me to do anything if you can't provide me the means to get this done. Here's where we're at. Here's a true assessment. They've been lied to you for years. If y'all want to fix it, let's fix the dang thing. But here's where we are. And again, the legislators are going to have, they just spent $312 million. So they're going to be some reserve. Trying to get money out of them may be a little bit hard. But if he comes in with the actual numbers and actual truth to where, hey, they can believe him. But Bob, another thing, Prius, you're lying on those Prius. Come out with the truth. Come out and say, hey, we've been hiding these. We've been lying about them. And come out in truth and get ahead of it. Say, I had to do this while I was here. But now I'm going to come out with the truth. Because if you don't and it comes out, it's going to eat your lunch. And here's what I would be doing, Bob, is I would be doing all of that. You got lawsuits on human rights. I'd get ahead of it. You got all these PREA deals. I'd get ahead of them. I would not walk in there and continue the same fat lie that every employee knows is a sorry lie. Everyone up there knows that they have lied about how many PREAs and reporting PREAs and all of that. And I would send out a message to my staff. We are not going to tolerate staff having urine thrown on them. That'd be one of the first messages I would send. We are going to protect our staff. If urine is thrown on them, if feces, if they're attacked, you file charges. File charges in the district court. The whole prison system would know our officers are off limits. You will not touch one of our officers. So what's wrong with that dog, Bob? You need to take care of that dog.
I know. Bless his heart. She hears your voice. I know she goes on, but she does good when she comes at time to go to bed. She snuggles up there to me, but I guess I'm not doing a good job in teaching her how to act. I want to go get me some lessons. We're gonna go text them.
You gotta get that hard, Bob. Bob, I will tell you this: there's so much to do in the Department of Corrections, and I do hope that Justin. I wish Justin the very best. I don't have any animosity. I tried to help him. I honestly did. You remember when Rod Thornton was on the board? Yeah. And guess what? I called into him, called into others to, I don't know whether Justin knows this, but you know, when Crow first come in, Justin was not his pick. He was going to put Carpenter in that position, was what I understood. And a couple of us put, and Bob, I think you were in the bunch too, put some heat on to get Justin in that position. And then, you know, in the last 3 years, Justin wouldn't even say hi to me. He wouldn't even speak to me hardly. I mean, he'd nod his head, hey, how you doing? And that's it. So here you help him, you go out of your way and you help him get that position. And I understand he's got to do what he's got to do to keep his job. And I understand Harp didn't like me, and I understand that, you know, he did that. But Bob, he's got to break out of that. He can't play this political, whatever it takes. He's got to step forward and be his own man. And he's got to step forward and keep, he is a masterful politician. He ought to run for office. He's masterful on being able just to work with anybody and fit in and get, you know, and stay there. And that is a super quality. It's a great quality, but it's not a quality that's going to get this job done. He's got to come in and be more, okay, I'm the boss today. There is no, I don't have to play politics. I got to play politics over at the Capitol, and he can do that. He can handle that position great, but he's got to come back in and say, I'm taking control, and here's what I'm going to do, and we're going to clean this place up. And Bob, he can't play. It ain't happening no more. And he's had to play that. He's been the one that covered them. He's been the one covered them, but he needs to come out and say, hey, this is what's wrong. Let's get it all out in the open and let's fix it and address it. And you know what, Bob? If I'm following you, and you're a case manager, and I'm going to be a case manager, and I'm going to take the case that you had, guess what I'm going to do, Bob? I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to draw a line and say, Bobby Cleveland was above this line, and Justin Humphrey accepted this case today. And then I'm going to go through that case, and I'm going to say, I found this problem, and I fixed this problem. So that when they come in and say, oh, dadgum, no, hold on, that was wrong before I took it. And I just identified everything that's wrong, and I'm working on fixing it, and here's how I'm doing it. So whether it's human rights violations, or whether it's Korea, or whether it's ignoring officers and covering up officers being attacked, whether it is that used to you put out a quarterly report, and now you don't report anything and you're covering it all up, boom. You go back to transparency. You go back to real numbers. You go back to reporting the truth. And you go back to, hey, this is where we're at. And you start showing that you're fixing the problem and you're taking care of it and you're addressing real problems. And I'll guarantee if you do that, hide and watch the staff get behind you. Start loving on your staff. Start telling your staff you support. Change your motto back, Bob. Change your motto back. That would do you a lot of good too.
Yeah. Hey, that motto he thought he'd come up with. Did you tell me that was actually come out of a Geo group or some other group?
Bob, I was looking at something or talking to somebody, and that's what they told me. Somebody told me that, or I saw that was actually Geo's, that he actually kind of hijacked that off Geo a little bit. So again, that's what I say. He's not even original enough to come up with. Bob, I don't know of one original. The only original idea that I know Hart come up with was those green uniforms. That was the number one biggest disaster he did. You know, Mr. 5-star general. I'm going to pretend to be a 5-star general carrying a gun into the prison, leaving it in the back seat and shooting.
Well, thank goodness that he's gone and we don't have to talk about him anymore.
Oh, I got to talk about him, Bob. I got to talk about him, man.
Move forward and try to get things going. But I don't know if they believe that everything's okay. If they don't understand there's a problem, they don't understand that the problem they have there at OSP, at the warden.
Bob, You want me to tell you something? You want me to tell you something?
Yeah.
Me and you don't know half their problem. Me and you don't know half their problem. Everybody thinks we know all of this stuff. Me and you don't know half their problem. They know what a disaster. I'm sitting here saying disaster. Guess what? They know, if I know it's a disaster, they know it's a bigger disaster. To come out and try to pretend any other thing is just, for lack of a better word, it's just a lie. You know, come out and hit every problem, get an assessment. If it was me, there's a company out of Texas, I'd be happy to give them the name. That's what this company does. They're very, very well known. They're super known for this. They come in and do a complete just complete, review of where you're at, so that then and they give you a plan on how to fix your problems. That would be a great place to start right there. Go and get those experienced hands. Get rid of your old hands. Go and get that doctor. Put him on that. You know what, Bob? It's not brain surgery. It's just having the willingness. And then send the message out. Change your motto. Come out and say we encourage to join you. Show a meeting. Have a meeting and show that he met with you and we're back. We're building relationships with the employee again. That's the messaging that you want to do. You want to get your employees on board with you. They have done nothing but treat the employees like hell. Employees are worst I've ever seen in my lifetime. The employees have had it with them. They're not happy with them. And all the employees are sitting back right now to see what's he going to do. And again, I'm sitting back and the reason I'm talking about Harp is because I don't want to talk about Justin. I want to see what he does, but I want Justin to know you don't want to tie yourself to Harp. That's why I'm talking about Harp. You do not want to tie yourself to that. You want to step out and you want to say, without you coming out and saying as harsh as I am about Harp, you can't do that. I can't. But what you want to do is say, this is how we're changing. You don't have to badmouth him. Just come in and start changing. And that will speak more volume. That'll speak better than any words you speak. Just go do it. Just go do it. And let your employees speak it for you, is what I would say.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be finding out here shortly. It won't take very long to figure out what's going on.
No, it won't take long, Bob. We'll know it before very long. And again, they're massive bleeding, three dead again. Bob, it's been about 3 a week for quite some time here. 4 ODs. I don't know how many of those actually died or whether they were able to keep them alive. You had a couple of stabbings. You've got real medical problems down there at Lawton, as we first started saying. You've had a lot of air conditioner problems, man. I'm getting caught on that big time. And so, it's just, and if you want a place to start working, go to Hodeville.
Yeah. Well, I think I want to call it quits here and talk to my dog, see if I can get her straightened up.
Bob,
everybody says that, Bob. She's just a puppy. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on with today, or things that you do to help the officers and everything that goes on. And we'll just go keep on plugging.
Always want to remind everybody running for Lieutenant Governor. Appreciate everybody's support. Get out there and tell your friends. Bob, y'all have a great day.
Thanks a lot.